Russian warship aggressively approached U.S. destroyer in Arabian Sea. A Russian warship aggressively approached a U.S. Navy destroyer as it operated in the North Arabian Sea on Thursday and ignored warnings from a U.S. vessel and risked getting into an accident, according to a statement from the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet. On Thursday, January 9th, while conducting routine operations in the North Arabian Sea, the USS Farragut was aggressively approached by a Russian Navy ship, the Fifth Fleet wrote in a statement. Farragut sounded 5 short blasts, the international maritime signal for danger of a collision, and requested the Russian ship alter course in accordance with international rules of the road. The Russian ship initially refused but ultimately altered course, the statement said, adding, while the Russian ship took action, the initial delay in complying with international rules while it was making an aggressive approach increased the risk of collision. In another statement, the Navy said the Russian ship eventually turned around. The Russian ship initially refused but ultimately altered course, and the two ships opened distance from one another. While the Russian ship took action, the initial delay in complying with international rules while it was making an aggressive approach increased the risk of collision. The U.S. Navy continues to remain vigilant and is trained to act in a professional manner, the Navy wrote. The U.S. Navy said the USS Farragut is part of the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier group. It's tasked with intercepting potential enemy ships so they won't get too close to the carrier. USS Farragut is named in honor of the U.S. Navy's First Admiral David Glasgow Farragut and the fifth ship to bear his name. Farragut is an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer fitted with the latest technology to fulfill any offensive or defensive tasking. One of the most capable ships ever put to sea, her crew is well-trained and prepared for battle. The incident is another example of close encounters between Russian and U.S. military forces that American officials have described as reckless. Thursday's encounter comes about 7 months after another incident in the Pacific Ocean when U.S. and Russian ships came close to one another. U.S. officials said it had to perform an emergency maneuver to avoid crashing. In August, Russia confirmed it flew nuclear-capable bombers to a region close to Alaska as part of a training routine. 2 strategic missile carriers, Tu-160, of the Russian Aerospace Forces made a non-stop flight from a base point to the Anadyr airfield, the Defense Ministry said in a statement on Twitter at the time. The flight duration was more than 8 hours, during which time the crews covered more than 6,000 kilometers. This isn't the first time a Russian vessel has come dangerously close to a U.S. Navy warship at sea. This past June, Russian destroyer Admiral Vinogradov came within 165 feet of the USS Chancellorsville in the East China Sea. Notably, some of the Russian sailors appeared to be sunbathing during the near collision, which on an American highway would probably count as distracted driving. The near collision comes as tensions in the region between the U.S. and Iran have soared to a historic high, and as Russian influence in the region, often in the form of weapons sales, appears to be growing unabated.